Hey everyone, it's Oliver. Welcome back to Not My Car. So the other day I made a video about how I managed to get an interview with Intel and I made it all the way to round 2 and then proceeded to completely bomb the second interview. So today we're going to be talking about the resume that actually got me that interview. And if you want to hear the full story of what happened in the interview, you can go check out the video in the top corner. I'm also going to be looking at some other resumes that got me some interviews and my actual job. So with that said, let's get into the Intel resume. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of my own resume, and I'm sure that all these extra details don't really matter so much. It's the content of the resume that really matters. As long as it looks clean and readable, you're good to go. So let's start at the top with education. As some of you know, I am a McMaster University student. Congrats, you can stalk me now. Please don't though. And at the time that I submitted this resume, I was in the 3rd year of my mechatronics engineering program, which is actually a 5-year program. I'm kind of an accounting and finance nerd on the side, so I joined this management program, which gives an extra year to your degree, but you get to take a whole bunch of commerce courses and really broaden your skill set. And then if you add on top of that another year for working full-time, my degree is actually going to end up taking me 6 whole years to complete. Now, this might seem like a really long time to finish one degree, but now that I'm entering my 4th year, I'm realizing that 4 years probably wouldn't really be enough for me to feel ready. I don't know if it'll ever be enough to feel ready, but I've also realized that it's important to just enjoy the journey and enjoy where you are while you still can. Anyway, back to the rest of the resume. So at the time I was and still am a web developer, and I was working for this one client, and I'm still working for him doing various different projects. But he was the one who really gave me my start in web development and let me build out his first website for him, and I think it turned out pretty good. I think that Intel really liked seeing this on my resume because according to their job description, one of the qualifications was that you needed to have some kind of experience with web development. And then next item on the list is my teaching assistantship at McMaster University for a course called Engineer 1P13. I think that generally any teaching assistantship on your resume is a really good thing to have because it shows that you learned something in school well enough to have the school actually hire you to teach their students, or at least be trusted with marking some assignments. It also shows that you can work with others, coordinate with professors, and provide your input on how things are going. And my last work experience here was lifeguarding/swimming instructor. This one is a little less relevant than the others, but I did lean on it to show that I've worked in a professional environment before, and it also kind of takes a while to become a lifeguard, so showing that you have the perseverance to actually make it to lifeguard and then work there for a long time can look really good. Next, I have a section called professional development. Now, most of the time on other resumes, you might see things like extracurricular, personal projects, or volunteer experience, but I went to a career workshop and they said that it really makes more sense to just put all of those things under one big umbrella called professional development, because that's essentially what you're doing with all of those tasks, is developing yourself as a professional. It also saves on a lot of space, which is extremely important when you only have one page. A few other tips I got from this workshop were that you need to use really strong adjectives, so I got this word bank of just strong words that you can use to put into your resume and to change things up a bit. And of course, something really important is if you have a 2-page resume, just throw it away and try and make it into 1 page because nobody is going to read your second page. So in this professional development section, I talked about building my PC. Now, this one is probably a little bit questionable to put on a resume because anyone can build a PC, but I figured that since it was Intel, they might actually like to see something like this. And I had just built the PC at the time I was applying, so I was still really excited about it and thinking about it a lot, so it kind of just ended up on the resume. Also, don't tell Intel, but the CPU is a Ryzen 3700X. I also put down this pacemaker project, which was actually part of a course that I took called software development, and that course kind of drove me insane, I'm gonna be honest. I ended up doing a lot of the coding for the graphical user interface in Python. I also ended up getting an unfortunately low grade because the midterm was not written in any form of discernible English. It was just brutal. Am I still upset about it? No, I don't know why you would think that. And we have the last one, which I think was also a really good thing to have on this particular resume, which was the hackathon. I got to work with an amazing team of people and we built some kind of forest fire detection prototype. I spent a lot of my time doing the web development, and this was basically the first website I built that was actually usable. And I mean, I basically did rip off all of the code from a W3 Schools template, but I did learn a lot from doing this and I was able to change everything to suit our needs and basically customize the entire website. I also learned, most importantly, that it's totally okay to reuse code. If somebody has done it before, why bother wasting your time typing up all of the code completely from scratch? So I'm actually pretty confident that this resume was really good, but it could just be because I'm biased and I actually got the interview. Obviously, there's always room for improvement, and especially when it comes to my English, my writing skills are not the best in the world. I honestly don't think there was one silver bullet or item on this resume that got me the interview. I think it was the entire package alongside the cover letter, which I'm not going to be covering today. Cover letters are like an entirely different beast, and I don't know if I want to get into it right now. I would basically end up rewriting entire cover letters completely from scratch for every single job that I applied for, and this would take me up to an hour sometimes. And if you want to get a job, it really is a game of how many applications can you get out there. So for the other resumes that got me interviews, I kept a lot of the bones the same, but I changed up a few items within. For the job which I actually got hired for, I ended up building this web scraping bot specifically for the deadline of this application, and it actually turned out to be a pretty cool project, and I'm honestly very proud of what I did, and I think it kind of got me that job. So let's go and see if it still works. So as promised, I was able to find it. I'm going to run it in development mode so that you can actually see like what's happening, the login and everything. But basically, if I take my current term grades and fetch them, it'll take me here to Chrome and then log in to this McMaster portal. And then it's going to select my grades section and then click on one of these things. Okay, anyway, if I just like help it out a little bit, it'll fetch the grades. There you go. So it's supposed to work. Said everybody whose shit doesn't work. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I feel like the script that I wrote was very cool, and it probably helped me get the job. But of course, after that, you still have to have a flawless interview to actually get hired. And the final resume I'll be reviewing today was one for a more business-focused job. And I ended up adding the experience I had a few summers ago of running my own lawn care business. I also included my short stay as an analyst on the McMaster Investment Council, and some other finance-related roles that probably shouldn't be there because, to be completely honest, I didn't really contribute to them at all, and that's completely my fault. So that's definitely not being added to any of my future resumes. But it seemed like the more finance stuff I pushed onto this resume, the better my shots were at getting the interview, so there you go. And remember, never tell a lie on your resume, but always stretch the truth. I don't know if that's real advice, but there you go. If you want some deep dives into cover letters and how I made those, because I think those are probably more important than the resume, then do let me know and I'll make a video about those sometime in the future. Thank you so much for sticking around to watch this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it and found it useful and maybe could take some of my tips to get your own interviews at Intel. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more, and follow me on Instagram @OliverFoote, and I'll see you all in the next one. Whoosh.